Stop waiting for a pile of cash. Whatever the number you think you need to start your business, divide it by 10. You don't need $100,000. You don't need $50,000. Most of the time you need grit, not green. I've seen people throw $500,000 into a business and fail while others started with a few $100 and built empires. If you've got little or no money, good, that is actually to your advantage. In this video, I'll show you why being broke forces you to build smarter, faster, and better, and how you can launch your business using creativity, not capital. Because if you're sitting around waiting for cash to magically appear, you are already losing the game. Who's talking and why you should listen? My name is John. I've been in business for 15 years. I've founded multiple ventures from scratch and even won SBA's Minority Small Business Owner for 2023. That is right. SBA themselves said we are doing something right. I'm also the author of The Immigrant's Companion, a guide I wrote after arriving in America with almost nothing and building my own American dream. Now I'm building a tech company, software as a service, to help millions in the cleaning industry streamline their businesses. I don't say this to brag. I say it so you know I've lived this. I've started my journey in this country with $200 in my pocket, and I've bootstrapped. I've hustled. I know what works and what does not, and I'm here to share it with you. Thus, when I tell you you don't need a lot of money to start your business, you can trust me. I've walked that road. Let's address the big fat myth up front. I need a ton of money to start. This mindset stops so many aspiring entrepreneurs in their tracks. You might picture needing a fancy office, perfect equipment, a fully developed product, and a huge loan to pay for it all. Wrong. In reality, most businesses start on far, far less. A study by Kauffman Foundation found the average startup cost is just over $30,000, and many start with only a few $100s. The US Small Business Administration says a home-based businesses might only need $2,000 to $5,000 to launch. That is a lot less than a six figures. I don't have money is often just an excuse. I've met people with steady jobs who say they can't start because they don't have cash. But that is not true. It is fear. As Tony Robbins puts it, your success is never about resources. It is about being resourceful. The most successful people find a way to thrive even when the economy is down or costs are high. They get creative and make it happen with what they already have. Being a resourceful means finding solutions, using what's available, and not letting limitations to stop you. It means if you can't afford something, you find alternatives. Borrow if you have to, improvise or learn how to do it yourself, and incentivize others to come and do it for you. Lack of money can actually be your greatest advantage because it forces you to think outside of the box. Now, here is a slightly controversial take. Having a huge pile of money can even be a curse. I've seen entrepreneurs secure a $200,000 to $500,000 loan, and you know what they did? They spent it all. They burned through that cash, building the perfect product, renting a cool office, hiring too many people, and then crickets. No customers, no revenue, just an empty bank account. And why? Because they never proved anyone actually wanted what they were selling or building to sell. They thought that money could buy success, but 42% of startups fail because they built something nobody actually wants. Aiming for perfection from day one is a recipe for failure. I am guilty of it myself. I know how it feels. Like you should have everything 100% ready. The polished product, the perfect website, the ideal branding before you even launch. But listen, trying to start perfect is dangerous. You risk spending months or years and tons of money building something in a vacuum. By the time you unveil your perfect product, you discover customers have moved on or don't really like it, or a competitor emerged and already made it happen. And many entrepreneurs waste time and money chasing perfection when they should be testing and learning. Think about it. Would you rather have a perfect product that nobody wants, or imperfect product that customers love. The lean startup approach exists for a reason, and it does work. Start small and ugly, then improve with feedback. I am guilty of failing into this trap myself. The first version of our software as a service business was supposed to be perfect. We poured our money and hopes into it to have built a product which just nobody wanted, and it didn't even perform. We couldn't even reuse it. We had to refactor the whole thing, which means we took what we had, all the money, all the years of time, dumped it, and just started over from the drawing board again. Do not repeat my mistake. As one entrepreneur article said, begin with a small scale, and then you have gained some data, expand. Don't wait for the perfect moment or a flawless offering. Just start and polish as you go. Our second attempt was used building an isolate phased approach. We built, we tested, we proved concept, then built on top of it small calculated risks. And if you think about it, even billionaire founders start scrappy. Take Sarah Blakey, founder of Spanx, literally began by cutting the feet of her pantyhose and testing her idea while holding a day job. She said, a lot of people want to start big that can cause a lot of problems. Blakely started Spanx in 1998 with $5,000 of her own money. That is about $7,880 in today's. Working on it as a side hustle only. So that imperfect prototype of footless pantyhose turned into $1 billion company. And it is sure wasn't perfect at start. Her story proves you can start small, messy, and cheap and still win big. Bottom line, don't let perfection paralyze you. Launch fast, learn fast. It's better to put an imperfect solution in front of customers and adapt than to build your dream product in isolation and discover nobody actually wants it. Still not convinced? Let's look at some famous businesses that started scrappy with tiny budgets and grew into giants, mammoth. This is going to blow your mind and hopefully erase any fear that you might have that you need more money to begin. Take HP, Hewlett Packard. Yes, they are a huge tech company today, but they began in a garage with just $538 in 1939. Adjusted for inflation, that is roughly $10,000 today. But Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard didn't wait for a massive investment. They pulled what little cash and equipment they had and started building an audio oscillator, their very first product. Walt Disney Studios became their first big client, buying that oscillator to make the first movie, Fantasia. By the end of their first year, they now had $5,369 in sales. Humble even back then, but profitable from year one. HP is now, you know that, a multi-billion-dollar company. And it all started with about the price of a used laptop. No big money, just big resourcefulness. Take another example, Ringly. Ever chew that gum? The company behind it was started in 1891 with only $32 in capital. That's like $850 in today's money. William Ringley Jr. began by selling soap and giving away chewing gum as a promotional gimmick. The gum turned out to be a more popular, so he pivoted into gum full-time. 2 years later, he launched Juicy Fruit Gum. By 1908, Ringley's Spearmint Gum was making over $1 million a year in sales, an enormous sum in those days, if you think about it, all from those $32 to start. If Ringley could turn a few bucks into a chewing gum empire, what could you do with resources you already have? Let's go back to Spanx again. We already talked about it, but it's worth highlighting again. $5,000 to start, turned into $1 billion brand by solving a simple wardrobe problem for women. And at the same time, Sarah Blakely kept her day job selling fax machines while working on Spanx at night. She reinvested profits, stayed scrappy, and avoided taking outside investment for a long time. Her lean approach let her keep 100% ownership of her company, which is a massively successful now. Scrappiness pays off. Literally. One more example. Subway. The famous sandwich chain started with $1,000 loan in 1965. About $8,000 today. 17 years old, Fred DeLuca wanted to earn money for college. So he opened a tiny sandwich shop with a family friend's funding. One sandwich shop started on a shoestring, eventually grew it over to 40,000 Subway locations worldwide. Again, no massive venture capital, just a small loan, reinvestment, and hustle. And it's not just historical examples. Plenty of Fish, POF, a dating app, was started in 2003 by Marcus with just 500, and he never spent more than that. He built a basic website while learning the code and let it run as a free service. By the time he realized what venture capital was, he quite frankly didn't need it. The site was already making millions in profit. POF was actually profitable from day one through ads, and he sold it in 2015 for $575 million whopping dollars. Not bad for a $500 investment, which is about $690 today. So as you can see, these stories show a clear pattern. It's not tons of money that launches great businesses. It is grit, creativity, and pivoting the concept. Each of these founders started with what they already had. Often that was next to nothing, as we just saw. They focused on getting customers and delivering value first, then scaling up. In some cases, when they did spend money, it was after they had proof of idea which worked. Small starts can lead to a huge outcomes. So when you catch yourself thinking next time, if I only had more money, I could start, remember HP's $538, Ringley's $32, Spanx $5,000. The question is not, where can I get more money? The question is, how can I be resourceful with what little I already have? By now, you are seeing a theme. Resourcefulness, it's the real key, not resources. So let's drill down on that. What does being resourceful actually mean for an entrepreneur? Being resourceful means using creativity, problem solving, and hustle to overcome challenges. It's a mindset of, how can I make this happen, instead of it can't happen because I don't have X, Y, or Z. And here's an example. If you don't have money for expensive marketing, maybe you leverage free social media and guerrilla marketing tactics. That is resourcefulness in action itself. If you can't afford a full-time employees, you start by wearing multiple hats yourself or bartering your services with others, or whatever way you encourage them to join your train. If you need funding, you try to pre-sell to customers or get small deposits rather than waiting for a big investor. It's all about doing what you can with what you already have, where you are. A classic quote from Theodore Roosevelt that still rings true. Let me give you a personal example now. When I started my cleaning business, I didn't have cash to buy fancy equipment or a fleet of vehicles, so I embraced constraints. I rented equipment when I needed, bought supplies in bulk on sale, and even borrowed a van at times. The lack of money pushed me to find cheaper solutions for everything. And guess what? Many of those solutions worked even better. Constraints fuel creativity. I learned to leverage free or low-cost technology like Google Workspaces to coordinate my team, or WordPress to build our website on my own instead of hiring a designer. We maximized every dollar. This mindset of do more with less not only saved money, but also our company culture of being lean and innovative. Even as we grew and could afford more, that habit of careful spending and clever problem solving stayed with us. And this is a big reason we became award-winning. So resourcefulness also means building relationships and tapping into your network. When you don't have money to throw at a problem, you often rely on people. I made a point to meet other business owners, join local business groups, and seek mentors. Those connections led to free advice, partnerships, and referrals that were priceless. For instance, early on, I couldn't afford a marketing team, but I met a friend entrepreneur who gave me a tip about SEO for my website. for free. That tip then helped me to rank on Google and bring in clients organically without cold calling or door to door. All of this and inbound marketing. See, that didn't cost me a dime. It took being proactive and resourceful enough to ask for help and use my community. Resourcefulness is, quite frankly, a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And it is the muscle that builds great businesses. So ask yourself, whenever you hit a wall, how else can I solve this? What do I have right now that I can use? I promise adopting this mindset will make you virtually unstoppable. As one article said, being resourceful means you never letting excuses to stop you. No money, no problem. You find a way. All right, let's get practical now, shall we? You are pumped up. You want to start without waiting for a windfall of cash. What do you do next? Here are some actionable steps to launch and test your business idea right now on a shoestring budget. These are exactly what I advise any new entrepreneur to do and what I've done myself. Feel free to grab a pen and jot these down. Number one, nail down the problem and solution. That will cost you nothing. First, be crystal clear on the problem you are solving. Talk to potential customers. Yes, talk to them for free. Have a phone call, coffee chats, or online surveys asking people about the issue you want to solve. Understanding their pain costs nothing but your time. Make sure your product or service or truly addresses a real need. Because remember that 42% of startups that fail because there was no market or need for whatever the solution they were creating. Don't be the part of that 42%. Ensure early on that people want what you plan to offer. If they don't seem excited about your solution, tweak it and test it again. It's infinitely better to find out now cheaply than after you've spent a ton of money. This process is often called validation, and it is essentially free. Use your ears more than your wallet at this very first stage. Number two, you want to start as small and simple as possible. Once you have an idea people care about, think of the simplest version of it you can create. This is now becomes your MVP, which is minimum viable product. If it's a product, maybe you can create a basic prototype or even a mock-up. If it's a service, let's say like a cleaning business, consulting, pet sitting, anything, offer just one simple service to start. Don't launch with a giant menu of offerings. Start with one client, one product line, or one location. For example, if you want to start cleaning business, begin by cleaning one friend's office on weekends for a small fee. Use their vacuum or the one that you already have. Prove you can deliver value on a micro scale. Starting small keeps costs low and lets you iron out the kinks. As one successful founder put it, start small, get some data, then expand. You'll learn so much from your first paying customer, and paying is important. That feedback will give you on what to do next, which is far more valuable than blindly spending upfront money. Number three, use free or cheap tools to build your presence. In today's world, you can look professional and reach customers with almost no money. You need to take advantage of this. For instance, you can build a basic website for free or low cost using platforms like Wix or WordPress. Many have free plans or cheap domains. Use social media. It is what? Free. Create an Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or LinkedIn page for your business and start posting content that attracts your target customers. Don't be like salesy though. Bring them a value. I have the whole video about how to attract customers and get paying customers by spending zero, literally like no money. That's like 50 minutes of gold, like literally a masterclass. If you're interested in it, check it out after you're done with this video, because multitasking, you want to master something and go to something else. Otherwise, you'll have a choppy here and choppy execution here, and that's bad. That's not good. Design, for example, Canva, which has a free version as well, is a great design tool for logos, flyers, social media, photos, hiring graphics, designers. You can post it on Upwork and Fiverr if you're really not comfortable at it, and get somebody do the marketing for you at their outside of the country, of US outside of the country rates, which are low for US, but still expensive for them. And if you need to manage projects or tasks, use free versions of tools like Trello, Asana. For communication and file sharing, Google Workspace or even just Google Drive and Google Docs are basically free and very powerful. The point is, there is a free tool almost for everything. Accounting, email marketing, customer service. Start with those before you even pay for software. Leverage sweat equity, your time and effort instead of cash. It might take learning a new skill, like how to set up a simple website, but remember, every dollar you don't spend is dollar you don't have to raise or repay. 4, hustle for your first customers. Focus on getting your first paying customers as soon as possible. This is huge. That first customer will teach you more than any amount of planning. So hustle. Tell your friends, family about your services, post about your new business in community groups, attend local meetups or industry events, cold call or email potential clients. It costs nothing but courage. Offer a discount for a free trial to your very first customers in exchange for feedback and testimonials. That's how you build up your social proof. For example, if you're launching a new cleaning service, offer to clean a small office at a big discount one time. Then, if they love it, they might become a regular client and refer you to others, and you will get a review as well. If you are starting an online store, list a few items on Etsy or eBay first to see if people will buy it. Will not just buy it, they need to actually pull out the credit card and pay. The key is to get real buyers early. Even a small sale is proof that someone is willing to part with their hard-earned money for your offering. That's the best valuation, and it brings in a bit of cash you can now reinvest. Also, early customers who give feedback are like gold. They tell you what to improve and what they value. You can now refine your business before you can scale up. This step is all about providing demand cheaply. Don't spend $50,000 on inventory or coding an app before you have any customers. Get one customer, then 2, then 3. Let growth pay for itself at the start. Number 5, you want to reinvest and scale gradually. Now, when you do make those first dollars, resist the urge to splurge. Reinvest profits carefully into things that remove your biggest constraints. Maybe you earned $500 from your first few sales. Great. Could you use that money to buy a proper tool or software that now makes you service better? Or invest in a bit of targeted advertising now that you know who your customer is and how to attract them. The point is to grow step by step. If you thought you needed $100,000 upfront and you've managed to start with $5,000, as you make money, you can gradually put money into the business to reach that original vision. But now you're doing it with a real revenue and knowledge. This is how you avoid debt and keep control. You are funding your growth from actual market demand. And if demand isn't as strong as you expect, you'll find out small scale and can pivot or adjust without having a huge loan hanging over you. I've seen people put their houses as a collateral. That is nuts because, hey, your family lives there. If you don't have a roof, then, I just don't even want to get in there. So be mindful how you spend your money. So this learning and changing approach scaling is how many great businesses grew. They didn't jump on a massive scale overnight. They earned the right to grow by mastering each stage. Number 6, you want to get creative with funding, and it's only if and when needed. If you do reach a point where you truly need more funds, for example, you have more customers' demand than you can actually handle, and a piece of equipment or let's say a new hire would unlock much more revenue for your business. This is be strategic. Consider small loans, grants, or crowdfunding rather than immediately seeking big investors or loan. You can also bring somebody with money as a partner. Just show them your traction. The SBA microloans program, for example, offers up to $50,000, and it's designed for small businesses to cover things like equipment or inventory. Sometimes local economic development offices have grants or contests for startups. Free money if you win. And crowdfunding on platforms like Kickstarter can be a way to get customers to essentially prepay for your products, funding your production run, like even before you actually start the production. Or even bringing on a partner, as I said, who has skills and resources that you lack. Though choose carefully, because a partner is a serious, like it's way more serious than being in a marriage. Divorcing the partner that is no good is really hard. And the mistake could cost you the whole business. And if you have like a non-compete or you won't start that business anymore for X amount of time after this, then you might not even get into 10 years into this business anymore. By then, what you know and what you have might not be relevant and likely will not, right? So that's why you want to start now. And avoid massive loans that you personally guarantee with your house unless you are very confident and have a clear plan. And always keep your expenses lean. So whatever money you do get, make it last longer than you think you need. And here's a pro tip. Everything will cost more and take longer than you expect. That is guaranteed. That's just how it goes. So you need to plan accordingly. And here comes number 7 that many people don't even think about. Plan your quit point. Know when to pivot or stop. This is one might surprise you, as I said. Part of starting smartly without a lot of money is knowing when you would quit. I don't mean quit at the first obstacle. No, you have to persevere through normal challenges. I mean setting yourself some specific criteria for when you would pivot or throw in the towel if the idea just isn't working. This comes from the expert vision strategist Ann Duke's book, Quit. If you haven't read it, I recommend you it, where she talks about setting kill criteria in advance. For example, you might say, if I can get at least 5 paying customers within 6 months, I'll rethink the business model or move on. And write that down, those signals and timeline before you start when you are objective. Maybe it is a revenue target by a certain day or a customer satisfaction metric, whatever it is. The idea is that if things aren't meeting the benchmarks you set in advance, you'll recognize it's time for change, your approach, or stop before you've sunk years of time and tons of money. And why this is important for starting with little money? Because it keeps you disciplined. It forces you to focus on results. If you only have, let's say, $5,000 to start, you need to use that wisely and hit certain milestones. So setting that quit point actually frees you from fear, because now you know that you won't just drain your life savings indefinitely. It also protects you from the trap of pouring good money after bad. As Anne says, doing this work upfront makes you more likely to quit at the right time if things aren't working out, so you can now redirect your energy to something better. Paradoxically, knowing you can quit if your idea is a dud gives you confidence to go all in now, because you have a safety trigger defined. So therefore, define what success looks like on your terms and write it down. Then go for it with everything you have got. By following these steps, you'll launch lean, learn quickly, and avoid the classic pitfalls and overspending. You will be building a business on a solid foundation of real customer validation and prudent spending. This is how you start a business when you don't have or don't want to use a lot of money. With your permission, I'm going to be a little bit tough on you here because I care about your success. You have 0 excuses left not to start. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday when the stars align. Now, you might be thinking, but I need a perfect idea, or I'm waiting for the right partner to join me, or the economy isn't great right now. Well, stop. Those are the same kind of excuses as I need more money. And we have just demonstrated that one. The truth is, there is no perfect moment to perfect situation to start a business. There will always be some uncertainty, some reason for a delay. But you know what? Every day you wait is a day you are not learning, not growing, and not earning. You don't need to wait for a partner to complement your skills. If you have gaps, you can learn or outsource cheaply until you find that partner. You don't need to wait for an investor. You know now how to start with what you already have. And if you're waiting for a validation or permission from someone, consider this is your permission slip. I'm giving you permission to chase your dream. Think about the entrepreneurs we talked about. If Sarah Blakely waited for a partner or a big investor, her company wouldn't exist. If Michael Dell waited until he had a fancy office, he'd probably have ended up working for someone else after graduation instead of creating a multi-billion-dollar company. Fortune favors the bold, those who step out before they feel 100% ready. You're probably at this moment more ready than you think. Emotionally, I get it. Starting with little money is scary. You fear failure, you fear looking foolish, you fear losing the little you do invest. But imagine yourself 1 year from now. You could be still dreaming, still making excuses, or you could be looking back on a year of massive action. Even if you stumbled, you'd be so much further ahead. And you might even be making money or be on the verge of something huge. The only difference is that you started. Let that sink in. The main thing separating the people who are successful from those who don't is that the successful ones get started. They get going. They didn't wait. They felt the fear and did it anyway. They used what they already had and made it work. You can do this. And I believe in you because I was you. I was an inspiring entrepreneur with big dreams and empty pockets. I was an immigrant with $200 in his wallet in a new country. If I had waited for perfection, I'd still be waiting, and instead I started with nothing. And through resilience, resourcefulness, persistence, and faith, I built something. Along the way, I failed many times. I pivoted, I nearly quit, but I kept going. And every step taught me that hunger beats entitlement any day, all day. So no more waiting for your rich uncle to fund your, or that ideal moment when your kids are older or the economy improves. Your time is now. You have what you need between your ears and your heart. Use those tools and steps we talked about. Start small, test, iterate. You will be amazed at how much you can accomplish without a big bank account. Every great business began somewhere, often in a humble, tiny way that nobody noticed at the time. It is only the hindsight that they look now legendary. Your start might be the humble too, but it is a start. All right, we've covered a lot. You learned why money takes a backseat to resourcefulness. So examples of scrappy businesses that made it big and got actionable steps to begin your own journey right away. Now, it's decision time for you, my friend. Are you going to take action? I hope the answer is yes, because knowledge without action is meaningless. Take that first step today, even if it's brainstorming your minimum viable product, which is MVP, signing up for a free website builder, or calling a potential customer. Do something that makes your idea real. If you found this video motivating, imagine what you could accomplish with some personal guidance. For those of you who are serious and ready to win, I have a special invitation. Book a one-on-one coaching call with me. This is not for everyone. Only if you're truly ready to level up and put in the work. I have opened up a few slots on Fridays only to personally help aspiring entrepreneurs and cleaning business owners just like you to shortcut the learning curve. It's a paid consultation because your business is worth investing in, and we will dig into the specific situation and craft a game plan to get you launched and growing. If you're interested, the link is in the description. I'd love to talk to you and help you make your business dream a reality. For everyone else, I hope this video lit a fire under you. No money, no problem. You've got the ultimate startup weapon, which is your resourcefulness and determination. And remember, being resourceful is being unstoppable. When you refuse to let obstacles stop you, you become an entrepreneur in the true sense. Now, as we wrap up, I have one more gift for your journey. Don't miss my next video. You will never think about the money the same way after this. It is the perfect follow-up to what you've just learned, and I dive even deeper into changing your mindset about money and success. That 21-minute wake-up call will transform how you view money in your business and life. I promise it'll be worth every second. Click here to watch it now and prepare to have your mind blown. And thank you for watching. If this pumped you up, hit the like button and subscribe for more bold business insight. Drop a comment about what you are going to start now with the resources you already have. I read every comment because I care about your success. Remember, you don't need permission. You don't need the right partner. You don't need a ton of money. You just need the drive to start. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Go get it. Future successful entrepreneur. I'm rooting for you.